everybody, it's Alma. Welcome back to Keto Meets Menopause. Check. You see it? It's lifted. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Hey everybody, it is Friday, which means it's day 4 of Vlogmas. Today, I think I want to talk to you a little bit about expectations. So regardless of the weight loss journey that you're on, we all have expectations of what we want to look like, what we want others to see us as, the way we want to feel emotionally. And you know what, honestly guys, sometimes that's a lot of pressure. I watched a couple vlogs today that really made me think about that. I think for most of us, it probably really cuts deep to the core because we allowed ourselves to let ourselves go. And now we're fighting to come back and revive the person that used to exist before weight gain happened. Expectations, it's kind of a bad word that we put upon ourselves. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that we just kind of really have to change that mental block that we have, or change that mental perception that we have, change that mental outlook that we have where we're telling ourselves, you know, we've got to look perfect. You know, I'll be honest, my gym intimidation is partially because I do look at the beautiful bodies in there, and I know I will never be that. That's just not my body makeup. I will just never ever have that physique. And you know, sometimes there's that little bit of jealousy that sits there and says, gosh, you know, do they even know what they've got? I mean, do they even know what they have got with that beautiful form? And you know, you get home and you're like, okay, these thighs are jiggly and this. And the truth is, they worked for it. I didn't. You know, and even if I had worked for it, I probably still wouldn't look like them. So yeah, I think we have to change our mindset and really start doing what Chubby Girl Gone said, which is we really need to find that self-love again. And I think that's going to be part of my focus on what I need to do for myself, is find more self-love and acceptance. And part of that is kind of me going back and evaluating what's going on. You know, we talk about menopause. I shared with you guys what happened last month. I don't know, it was part of my funk actually that I went into. I think that was the start of where I just started kind of feeling like crud, because I was like, man, I just want to be done with this. I want, you know, and gosh, I realized that's what a lot of us are saying about our weight loss. I just want to be done with it. And you know what? It's going to take as long as it's going to take. So I kind of got to get that out of my mind. What I do need to start thinking about is going back to where I was when I originally lost the weight. And then even go back to my HCG days. Now, I've shared with you guys in a previous video that I started my weight loss journey on the HCG protocol years ago. And I've done, you know, pick-me-up rounds here and there. I have done that in the past, and I'm even considering it in the future. I don't know. But you know what? You know, I just can't be so strict saying, oh, I'll let down my keto world. The great thing about HCG is if I decide to do it, there is now an HCG keto hack that is being run by Colin Watson, who has been, you know, running a HCG community for a long time. There's also a Facebook group called Keto Assisted HCG Protocol. Now, the reason I bring up HCG at all is because the great thing about HCG was that it forced you, when you went into phase 3, is to reintroduce foods into your body very slowly. And the reason he encouraged that is so you could find out if you have food allergies. Let's say you're 100 pounds and you introduce squash. Wake up the next morning and you're 101. You're like, okay, I really didn't do anything wrong. The only thing I changed was I had squash. So let's say you do it the next day, gain another pound. At that point, you've got to sit there and say, okay, maybe it is the squash. So what you do at that point in time is eliminate the squash, move to something else, and you might actually see that weight drop the very next day. And you're supposed to kind of test it out. Maybe do it 2 days later, try the squash again, and see if there is an increase in your weight again. If that happens, you know that your body is sensitive to that product. In fact, lots of people, when they enter into phase 3, they find out they have nut allergies, they have dairy allergies, etc. So I've been thinking about going to a very, very, very basic keto, and then using the concept of HCG, phase 3, and reintroducing foods on a very slow basis. I don't want to admit it, but I imagine dairy is probably an issue. So there may be a point of time where I end up doing a very low dairy week or two and just see what happens. I'm not going to go no dairy, guys. I'm just telling you guys that right off the bat. But maybe where I start off with some eggs and just cream cheese, and do cream cheese for a week and see how that goes. If there's no problem, the next week I can introduce some mozzarella or some ricotta or whatever it is, but one thing at a time, and see how my body does that. You know what? I know if I eat Brussels sprouts, I'm going to gain weight. I love them. I just know to expect the scale to go up. The risk I just simply take. It's crazy because you want to see the scale go down. You have a food craving for something like Brussels sprouts and you're like, it's Brussels sprouts. I'm not eating a bag of Lay's potato chips. You know, why in the world is my body reacting this way? But you know what? It does. You know, you've got little kids that take a bite of a strawberry and their face, you know, just blows up into a strawberry. They look like a little strawberry, bless their hearts. But yeah, it happens. So if you can have a food allergy to something like a strawberry or a nut, of course you can have it for a Brussels sprout. We all know that if you've got thyroid issues, you're going to have issues against soy, you're going to have issues with cruciferous vegetables, etc. So of course all of this makes sense. So that was the best learning experience for me as far as phase 3 was concerned from the HCG protocol. It really taught me a lot, and I'm thinking maybe I need to go back to that. And I say this because I was watching Marnia from Keto Mad about her exploration with keto right now. She's always done low carb, 1 meal a day, but she still had things in her diet such as some potatoes, some rice. Don't know how many grams you were doing a day, Marnia, but regardless, one thing you said was you kind of expected the scale to just drop based on eliminating those. That made me immediately think about HCG phase 3, where it's like, well, maybe while those items definitely would help you, maybe there's something else in your diet regime that your body is saying, I don't like this. And we're just not willing to recognize it because we're saying, because it's allowed on keto. You know, well, just because it's allowed doesn't mean your body is going to allow it. And that's a hard thing, is because your body doesn't say, meh, 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 don't like it, or does it? You get on the scale and the scale says, right? So I think that maybe that's something that I want to start looking at again, is going to a very basic form of keto and then reintroducing foods slowly. So it all goes back to expectations. You know, I don't want to sit here and think that I should be at a certain weight, I should look a certain way. I just want to find a way to be happy with myself. Self-love, self-gratitude, all of those good, wonderful traits that we all hopefully aspire to exhibit. So that's kind of my thought process, guys. Let me know if you have food sensitivities. I know that you could actually go in and get allergy testing for food allergies, and maybe that's something that, you know, I should possibly consider doing and finding out exactly how extreme my issues are. I had 2 sisters who, if they ate saltine crackers, their skin would just break out into hives. So why wouldn't I think that some of those things exist? It's just that my body doesn't break out into a rash. It exhibits either bloating or fatigue, increased weight on the scale, fluid retention, etc. So I think these are things that we need to sit down and, you know, kind of just evaluate about ourselves and not be so hard on ourselves. Maybe it's not anything that we're doing. Maybe it's our body composition that, you know, we're not doing enough to delve into where the root problem is. If you know that you're doing A, B, and C, then there's something wrong. Because if you're doing A, B, and C and you're being honest about it, you should, in theory, be losing. So maybe it's not that you're doing anything wrong. Maybe it's our body saying, dig a little harder, do a little more homework. That might be my goal in researching myself in the balance of Vlogust. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Let me know if you think you have any food sensitivities. I'm really, really curious what you guys have experienced. All right, so that pretty much wraps it up, guys. Thank you so much for allowing me to spend time with you. If you haven't already done so, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification button so that you'll know each time I post a new video. Alright guys, have a great day. Bye-bye.
Choice Wednesday, it's so neato. Now here's my wife to teach us keto. Pork rinds, rah, rah, rah. Carbohydrates, blah, blah, blah.